Imagine this. A routine bank visit turns into a nightmare of handcuffs and humiliation for a black woman cashing a check, only for the cops to discover she's an undercover FBI powerhouse who's about to flip the script on corruption that reaches the White House. If you're in the USA or UK and crave edge-of-your-seat stories exposing injustice, power plays, and epic twists that hit like a blockbuster thriller, hit that subscribe button now. Don't miss out on narratives that challenge the system and keep you hooked for more. In the bustling heart of downtown Chicago, where the wind whipped through the skyscrapers like an unrelenting force, Detective Sarah Jenkins, no, wait, that wasn't her real name. Her cover was Maya Thompson, a mid-level accountant scraping by in a modest apartment, stepped into the grand lobby of First National Bank. It was a crisp autumn morning in 2025, the kind where the leaves crunched underfoot and the air carried a hint of impending rain. Maya, dressed in a simple blouse and slacks that screamed everyday professional, clutched a check for $50,000 in her manicured hands. It wasn't just any check, it was bait, part of a meticulously crafted sting operation to expose a web of money laundering tied to corrupt city officials and a shadowy international syndicate. But the tellers didn't know that, and neither did the two patrol officers lounging near the ATM, sipping coffee from styrofoam cups. As Maya approached the counter, her heart rate steady from years of FBI training, she slid the check across the marble surface with a polite smile. "I'd like to deposit this and withdraw $5,000 in cash, please," she said, her voice calm and unassuming. The teller, a young woman named Lisa with wide eyes and a name tag slightly askew, scanned the check under the UV light. Her brow furrowed. "Ma'am, this looks off. The watermark isn't aligning properly. I need to call my manager." Maya's internal alarm bells rang softly. This was expected, but the timing had to be perfect. The manager, a stern man in his 50s named Mr. Hargrove, arrived with a clipboard and a skeptical glare. He examined the check, then eyed Maya up and down, her dark skin, her poised demeanor, and something in his expression shifted from caution to outright suspicion. "Where did you get this check, miss?" he asked, his tone laced with condescension. Maya replied evenly, "It's from a client settlement. All legitimate." But Hargrove wasn't buying it. He punched numbers into his computer, and within minutes, the bank's fraud alert system flagged it as potentially counterfeit. "I'm sorry, but we're holding this. And I'm calling the police," he declared, already dialing 911. The officers Ramirez and Kowalski, perked up from their post. They sauntered over, badges gleaming under the fluorescent lights. "What's the issue here?" Ramirez asked, his hand resting casually on his belt. Hargrove explained, thrusting the check forward like evidence in a courtroom. Kowalski, the burlier of the two, turned to Maya. "ID, please." She handed over her fake driver's license, flawless in its forgery courtesy of FBI tech wizards. But as they ran it through their system, a minor glitch, unbeknownst to Maya, a deliberate plant by the syndicate to test leaks, popped up a red flag for identity mismatch. "This doesn't check out," Kowalski muttered. "Hands behind your back, ma'am. You're under arrest for attempting to cash a fraudulent check." The lobby fell silent as handcuffs clicked around Maya's wrists. Whispers erupted from onlookers, another one trying to scam the system. Figures. The racial undertones hung heavy in the air, unspoken but palpable. Maya didn't resist. Protesting too much would blow her cover. As they led her out to the squad car, paparazzi tipped off. Somehow, snapped photos, turning her into tomorrow's headline fodder. At the precinct, the interrogation room was stark, with a one-way mirror reflecting her composed face. Captain Ellis, a grizzled veteran with a mustache that screamed 1980s cop drama, slammed the check on the table. "Talk, who's your partner in this? We know these fake checks are flooding the streets." Maya leaned back, her mind racing through protocols. She couldn't reveal her identity yet. The operation depended on drawing out the real crooks. "I want my lawyer," she said flatly. Ellis laughed. "Lawyer? For a fraud like you? You'll be lucky if you're out by Christmas." Hours dragged on, with Maya in a holding cell, listening to the echoes of other detainees. But twist number one. Unbeknownst to the cops, the check was indeed fake, but forged by the FBI to trace digital footprints. As night fell, a mole inside the bank, Hargrove himself, secretly on the syndicate's payroll, slipped into the evidence room, swapping the check with a real one to cover tracks. He didn't know Maya was FBI, he thought she was a rival scammer. Meanwhile, Maya's handler, Special Agent Reyes, monitored from a van outside. "We need to extract her before this blows," Reyes radioed to headquarters. But complication arose. The syndicate, sensing a setup, hacked the precinct's cameras, spotting Maya and recognizing her from a prior undercover op in Miami. Panic ensued in their lair, a penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan, where the boss, Viktor Krasnov, a Russian oligarch with ties to U.S. politicians, barked orders. Eliminate her. Make it look like a jail accident. Back at the precinct, Officer Ramirez felt uneasy. Something's off, Kowalski. She didn't even flinch. Kowalski shrugged. Black woman with a big check. Classic fraud. Their bias blinded them. Twist 2. As Maya sat in her cell, a fellow inmate, a plant from the syndicate, approached with a shiv hidden in her sleeve. You shouldn't have come here, the woman hissed. Maya, trained in Krav Maga, disarmed her swiftly, alerting guards. Chaos erupted. Sirens blared, lockdown initiated. In the melee, Maya whispered her FBI code into a guard's ear, but he dismissed it as desperation. Enter Twist 3. Captain Ellis, reviewing footage, noticed Hargrove's tampering. What the hell? He confronted the manager via phone, but Hargrove was already fleeing to O'Hare Airport. Reyes, intercepting comms, stormed the precinct with a federal warrant. Stand down. She's one of ours. The office's faces drained of color as badges flashed and files were presented. Maya was released, but not before exposing Ellis's own kickbacks from the syndicate. Twist 4. The captain was dirty, taking bribes to look the other way on fraud cases. In a dramatic standoff, Maya confronted him in the bullpen. You arrested the wrong person, Captain. Now, you're under arrest. Cuffs on Ellis, the precinct in shock. But the biggest twist, Krasnov, watching remotely, activated a sleeper agent, a U.S. senator who'd been laundering through the bank. As FBI SWAT raided the penthouse, the senator called in favors, delaying warrants. Maya, now leading the charge, pieced it together via encrypted emails. In a high-stakes chase through Chicago's underbelly, subways, alleys, culminating on the Navy Pier, she cornered Krasnov. It's over, she said, gun drawn. He smirked. You think so? Your own agency has traitors. Twist 5. Reyes was the mole, feeding info to Krasnov for a cut. Betrayal stung as Maya subdued him too. In the end, arrests cascaded. Hargrove at the airport, Ellis in custody, the senator impeached, Krasnov extradited. Maya, bruised but unbroken, stood on the pier at dawn, the city awakening. Her real name, Special Agent Aisha Brooks, decorated hero. The media frenzy shifted from fraud suspect to FBI undercover busts corruption ring. But in quiet moments, Aisha pondered the systemic biases that nearly derailed it all. Justice prevailed, yet the fight continued. Twists in life, after all, never truly end.